Okay, we're on. Tell me about rugby.
Rugby is the best game you can play. It's heaps of fun. You end up beating the shit out of your mates the whole game. And then as soon as it's over, you go and have a pint of beer.
Okay.
And the object is to hold on to the ball, do your very best not to drop it like I usually would, and it's just like football in that you wanna make it to the end zone without getting the snot beat out of you. But there's no forward passes. Everything's got to go backwards unless you kick it. You can kick it to yourself. There's no pads. There's no checking with your shoulders. You've got to wrap them up and bring them down. And no timeouts, no breaks, unless someone kicks it out or there's a serious injury on the field. So sometimes it happens.
And you're a member of the Chico
State Men's Rugby Club.
And that's through the college?
That's through the university. We play Stanford and Cal and San Luis Obispo and Santa Cruz and a few other teams. Cal's the big one that we have to get our asses kicked. They're so good. They've got like just title and title and title under their belt. It's fun. They got a real nice field to go and play in the big stadium. Sometimes they come here in their big fancy bus. It's a fun game because it's real fun because it's real. It's not just manly. It's fun. Like it's a fun game, and it brings you close to your mates, and you get pissed afterwards. But it's rough. It's real rough.
Did you play it in Australia?
Yeah, I did. I played it in Australia. I went from Chico State to go play in Australia, and that was really fun. Until it was the third game I was playing, and I just had made 3 big tackles. Like, I was so lucky too, hey, because I'm on the very end, and sometimes they get out towards me, and it's my job. That's like I'm the last man standing, and I made these 3 big tackles, and it was just like, oh, hurting, and then finally, they're like, okay, we'll give him the ball. I get the ball, I run up. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I practically run straight into this big Samoan brick wall, right? And he just takes me down. The ball goes shooting off. I can just imagine. I saw it like shooting like 20 feet above. It's like boing, catapulting out of me. Takes me down to the ground and proceeds to punch my face. And I'm just laying back there like, my God, this is really happening. This is awful. And sure enough, the ref is right next to us, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I noticed him out of the corner of my half-open eye, and he says, oi! Leave his face alone! And he turns back to the game, and that was it. Like, that was it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, is there any rules for this game? Like, is pistol whipping legal? Like, 5-minute penalty for killing someone? So that was my last game in Australia. I just had a bad feeling. I'm like, I'm not going to let some fuck shoulder or whatever else could happen stop me from surfing. So that was my rugby experience. It's pretty fun though. That was my Australian rugby experience.
You went to Europe too?
No, I didn't. But then another interesting story. When I was thinking, it was just about another few weeks before I would come back from Australia, and I was walking through the jungle, through this peninsula, Tasman Peninsula in Tasmania. And I was walking from one side to the other, and I was thinking how I'm going to tell my coach that I'm not going to come. I'm not going to go back to school. I'm coming back to school. I'm not going to go back to play rugby. It's just not, my body was just telling me it's not what I want you to do. And sure enough, I found some other things to do. And so I'm walking across, and I'm fretting, like, how the hell am I going to tell him? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm in the middle of the jungle right now, this national park, by myself. I just had this incredible connection with a wallaby, jumping back and forth naked on the beach. What am I worrying about this? I need to think about this step. I need to imagine how great this step is. And as soon as I'm like, I'm going to start with this step, I go down, and there's a big snake right where, like, camp is. Like, it was like, whoa, and, like, flew me back. This big, massive black snake. And I swear to God, I'd have stepped on it if I didn't look at that step. And it slithered away, and it was just like, boom, 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 boom. Oh. How to talk about presents, huh? It's like, be present, for God's sakes. Oh! So, yeah, rugby is pretty fun, too.